All right, so the first video that I put out was talking about Diablo 2, the Diablerie, and I kind of glossed over some of the item sections on here that I kind of want to talk a little bit about. I mean, I know I'm mining this for content, but really, now that I was kind of thinking about it and going through this and actually sitting down and listening, like looking at this, there's a lot that you can do and a lot of things that you can use in your regular D&D game right now. And one of the major ones is kind of utilizing the Diablo 2 slot idea within the use of making a like regular item that's non-magical suddenly a magical item. And you can do that by introducing the different stones that they have in here. And there's like a whole list of items on here. As I mentioned when I was talking about the different item lists, in terms of like improving saving throws or anything like that, if you take any of these base components of either like a pearl, jasmine, a lapis, jade, ivory, and then convert it into applying whatever like base component that is into that item. So say, for instance, you throw in a regular dagger that seems to have a slot, like a indentation that allows for an like a stone or whatnot to be slotted inside of that. And then later on in the game, they find we'll say it's a pearl. Now, this would give a +1 to saves versus mind-influencing effects. So I would say that would probably be a +1 saves against wisdom or even intelligence. You make the call in that sense. Or if it was lapis, it would be a +2 save against any cold damage. So if you play around with that a little bit, like if it was a jade, then maybe it's a +1 to poison damage, or if it's, say, emerald, maybe even poison, or even say it gives you a boost to health. So putting those slots into those items suddenly makes it much more, I guess, valuable and a little bit more in terms of like a treasure hunt to go and try to find these kind of like magical nethersites or conduits for your party to then plug in and play in that sense. The other thing is also to kind of include like a heraldic cube that was very prevalent in Diablo 2. Like I remember spending hours putting a whole bunch of things in there and combining them all together to see what stuck. And this is something that you could even incorporate in your own game, like having something like a bag of holding, or even like maybe call it like a bag of molding, or even just like an actual cube itself that the party holds onto. Putting, say, one of these items in here in terms of like a crystal, coal, or jade, or pearl with a magical or a benign item, and then fusing them all together to get those types of properties, I think would be really, really interesting. And another thing that you could even roll on any of these tables, or even make up your own tables in terms of, you know, +1 to 3 to any type of saving throw based on those items. I think you can play around a little bit just to amplify the regular old magical item dispensation, like giving the players a little bit more control over that, giving them more options so that you just don't throw a +1 dagger on there. Put in this regular dagger that they can now infuse with these magical properties. Now, I will put a big asterisk and allow you guys to choose how often you put in those magical items, like those magical keystones, for lack of a better term, to unlock the magical properties of those items. I would be very stingent. I wouldn't just go throwing them out like candy. I would make them work for it to build up the repertoire of that. Now, the other thing that I also wanted to mention, just playing around in this particular book, is how the items are constructed in terms of using these tables. If you have this book, or if you find a PDF, it's very interesting in that you have the base item and then you have the suffix. So for example, and this combination can be used to craft very individualized and very fun items. So you can have the base being either body armor, head protection, foot protection, hand protection, belts, shields, daggers, swords. We're only halfway through. Clubs, javelins, pole arms, axes, bows, crossbows, wands, and then going into accessories and gems. you can have these base items and just have, like, say I roll on the clubs table, we've got another 5 or 6 different clubs, like a spiked club, regular club, mace, scepter, morning star, and like drill down to the minute detail of just the regular club. So let's say I roll, I get a club. We're going to say we get a light mace. Now from there, we can add the prefix. So it would be something to either improve your armor class with this club. So this is giving a little bit more of a magical property to it. So this could be like a coal club or a crimson club. So this is something that goes before the actual item itself to give it a little bit of a boost. And so this is where you can get improved armor class, improved saving throws, affects the foe's reaction. So this could be a howling club, a chaos club. So for a howling club, you would get chosen foe takes fear effect. So kind of like a mace of fear. Or you can have the chaos. The chosen foe changes to a random new alignment against a will save. And the will save here is a DC 20. So you can make it as powerful or as ineffective as you wanted to. And then from there, you also have like improved skill throws. This is where you can also add the curses. And I, as I mentioned in the first one, I loves me a good curse. So this is where you can have a brass club, and that's a -1 penalty to attack. But this is where it gets really interesting. You can add a prefix of that while also adding a suffix. So adding a suffix does something either good or bad. So here's where it gets really, really fun. It could be a cursed magical item. Let's do a brass mace of the fox, which gives you +6 hit points. So a brass mace of the fox now gives you, for the brass, a -1 to attack, but it gives you 6 additional hit points. So that's where a lot of these kind of checks and balances really play out. And I think this is where you can really add in the Horadric cube if you're doing a whole bunch of these different things. So say you just have like a regular old club and you throw it in there, roll on the prefix and roll on the suffix tables of this, or even create your own to create such really, really fun items. So let's see here. I'll just do a randomized one. Let's do a pole arm. Let's do a scythe. Glowing glows for 30 feet. So we'll do the glowing scythe, and let's give this a really fun curse. Glowing scythe of the cat, which gives you a -1 wisdom. So that's a really fun little magical item that you can throw at your party, or they could combine a whole bunch of items together to create this new magic scythe. Let's do another one because I have a whole lot of fun doing this. Let's do a lapis ring of, let's see here, of the lion. So a lapis ring of the lion. The lapis gives you a +2 to +2 to cold. That would give you a resistance against cold, I would say. So you have a resistance of cold for this ring, as well as I said the lion, a +5 to wisdom. So again, the tables on this are just fantastic, and you're just like throwing things right in here. What I love about this is how easy it is to just roll a couple of dice and immediately come up with a whole bunch of these really fun things. So there's some fun things that you can even add into your game in terms of sprucing up the magical items without just picking something from the Dungeon Master's Guide or something within whatever game you're playing, just to kind of spruce things up a little bit, trying something a little bit different. That's what I also found really useful within this book. I might mine it a little bit more for content, but I've been having a really fun time coming up with these very, very unique and very entertaining items for my players. And if you can find the PDF, it is worth it just for these item tables alone. I might mine it a little bit more in terms of like some of the spells, because maybe I'll do a different video about some of the fun traditional spells that you can find within Diablo 2. Yeah, that might be something for another video. Anyway, that's what I've got for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you found this helpful, if you like what you see, let me know any of your comments about this by commenting down below. Any little tidbit will help. I'm still kind of figuring this all out, but I'm having a blast while I'm doing it. So thank you guys so much for watching. As always, you guys are definitely the best. Wow, I'm using my send off from my Notes Reviews music channel, and I'm still trying to figure out a catchphrase for this one. I'm kind of leaning towards May You Always Roll High, but I'm not sure. That feels like may the odds be ever in your favor from the Hunger Games. And I want something a little bit more positive, like, I don't know, love everybody, or give somebody a hug, please ask for consent. I don't know. I'm just going to sign off by just saying, okay, bye.